Hello everyone, I'm the Saxy Gamer, and today we're here for something a little bit different. Today we're going to be playing some Anno 1800 in part of my effort to branch out to more games. This is the first game that I think I'm gonna go into because I did that first look at it a few weeks ago, and people seem to be interested in watching some of it, so I figured why not. This would be a great time to do it because we are in kind of a Civ 6 lull right now since there are no expansions or anything like that coming out in the near future, nor are there any patches, so this is just a really good time to do that, so I figured that's what we would do. So in this series I'm just going to be doing kind of like a little walkthrough of Anno 1800. I myself am fairly new to Anno. This is the first Anno game I've ever played, but I've put quite a few hours into 1800 already, and I think I have a pretty good grasp on the game, so this is just going to kind of be a little walkthrough where I go nice and slow, explain the things to you guys if you're looking to get into Anno as well. And we'll kind of just see how far into a game we go. We might not finish a game, but we'll go, decently far in, and then eventually maybe we'll just kind of, stop once I've explained enough things, or maybe we will win and actually finish a game, but who knows, it's all up in the air for right now, but let's go ahead and get started with it, why not, right? So we're going to play Sandbox. You can't play the campaign. I've not put any hours into the campaign because I've heard it's not that good, but the Sandbox part I think is actually pretty good. I also just accidentally unplugged my headphones, but I got them back in. So yeah, we're gonna go with Sandbox. I'm gonna go less guidance, but if you want to, have more guidance whenever you play for your first time, I would highly advise you do so. The in-game tips in this game actually are pretty decent. We can choose our player right here. The different players don't really do anything, it's just kind of aesthetic, so I always like this guy because he has a monocle, and I think that's kind of funny, so I pick him. I always pick pink as my color, and I like this symbol as well because it kind of reminds me of engineering, and, I'm an engineer, so it just kind of, I don't know, it appeals to me. What a name is this? Shwoomzaloom. I think we have to keep the name Shwoomzaloom. I don't think we can get rid of that. I was gonna name myself the Saxy Gamer, but come on, like, if you get a randomized name that's Shwoomzaloom, you gotta keep it. Alright, and here's where you would choose your difficulty level. So you have normal, advanced, and expert. I'm gonna play on normal because I still am not really that good at this game. I have an understanding of the mechanics, but I'm not a pro by any means. One of the things that you want to do if you're playing Anno, so if you just keep coming in here and when you make new games you just keep selecting normal, you'll get the same world every time, which I didn't realize for a good while. So if you want to get randomized worlds, you actually have to come over here to custom, leave the preset on normal, but then just, spam the old randomize button a few times, and that will actually get you a different seed that gets you different worlds. So that's something that you need to do if you want to get randomized worlds, otherwise you'll just keep rolling with the same exact one in every single game that you start. Which, that's no fun. Here you can choose the players that are in the game, but this is the difficulty that they are. So here we have two people that are the lowest difficulty and one that's medium difficulty. I'm going to leave it on this because I think that this is a pretty decent thing to do. These are other factions that are in the game. I'm going to leave all of this, the rest of this stuff on default because I don't really know what some of it does. So I'm just going to roll with that. And pretty much just the normal preset, but just with a different random seed. One of the other games that I've thought about branching into is the new Total War game that came out. It's Total War 3 Kingdoms. It just came out like last week, and I did pick it up. I played it a little bit. I was pretty intimidated by it, so I, didn't really play it that much further. But if it is something that you guys want to see, I definitely can learn it a little bit more and then do a little bit of content on that as well. But yeah, so this is the world of Anno. This is our starting island right here. I guess its name is Druidstone for, what's our name? Shwoomzaloom. But right here you have your harbor, and you start out with a ship as well. I don't know if you start out with a ship on all difficulties, but on normal you definitely do. And you can see these are the various resources that you have on your island. So we have potatoes, grains, great fertility, niter deposits, and a whole load of other junk as well. And that will become very important once you get later on in the game and you start needing to make things that have these resources. So the first thing that you need to do in any game of Anno is place down a marketplace so that way you can get goods for your citizens, and your houses have to be located around the marketplace because the marketplace is what they interact with to get their needs from. So you could place it next to your harbor, but that's generally not as advisable as placing it in the middle of your island, because if you place it near your harbor, then you can only expand in pretty much, 2 or 3 directions. You can only expand this way. You can't expand this way because this is ocean. So normally people put it in the middle of their island so that way they can expand in all directions around the marketplace as well. But really you can do whatever is, whatever you feel like. I'm going to place it in the middle of my island because I want to make sure that I have plenty of room to expand my city as I grow. You have to make sure that you have road connections to everything, so I'm just gonna put a nice little road around the marketplace. You can see there's all these little wildlife things that are running around. We got deer over here. I think there are wolves here, some bison. This game has a lot of like really cool details in it, and I am only even playing on the medium preset because the game obliterates my GPU. If you'd like to, contribute towards the fund to get me a better GPU, so that way you guys can see better gameplay, feel free to click the link in the description below. But yeah, so the game looks really well, but it is a little bit difficult to run in some cases, especially once you get really big cities. But yeah, back to actually doing things. We're going to place all of our houses around this, and you can see right now we have a little error on the marketplace because it's not connected to our harbor. So everything on your island has to be connected to your harbor, just because that kind of serves as like the interface between your island and the rest of the outside world. So we're just going to connect it up like that. And we're going to place down some of our very first houses, which are farmers' residences. You can see that they take 2 wood to construct. We do start out with 50 wood, which is nice. I guess it's technically timber, not wood, because they are separate resources in this game, but, pretty much the same thing, right? So we're just going to go ahead and place them down. We've now reached the age of agriculture. I generally like to put houses in groups of 6. I don't really know why. Something about it just looks right. So that's what I tend to do, but you can really do whatever you want. It doesn't really matter, So we'll just go 2 groups of 6. And you, of course, have to make sure that you have road connections with all of the houses. So you can't really make them in groups that are wider than 2, because otherwise you can't get a road connection to the middle house, but you could make it in like a circle or whatever. That's generally also why I go with 6, because you do have to keep them in rows of 2. For that reason, because they all need to have the road connection to the marketplace to get their needs, their goods from the marketplace to satisfy their needs. I really like the road placing system in this game. I don't know why, but something about it just feels like good. But if we click on the marketplace, this is where you'll be able to see needs. Right now we don't have any needs that are current because they unlock as your city grows. So as we get more people, then our needs will increase and we'll have to get new resources to keep the population happy. One of the things that we have to do right now is, if we need timber to build houses, we need a source of timber, so we can go over to materials right here, and there is a production chain for timber. So lumberjack huts are what you use to get wood, and then from there you go into the sawmill to produce timber. And you can see right here, it says, right below it says produces goods, and it says wood, and it takes 15 seconds to produce 1 wood. And for timber, it takes 15 seconds to produce 1 timber. So for every 1 lumberjack hut that you have, you need 1 sawmill to produce the timber for it. So we're going to go ahead, and I think we'll use this general area right here as our timber production spot. So we'll go ahead and just place down probably two of these guys right now. You can see that there is a little AoE around them, and that means that they need that space for logging. So if we put buildings in that space, it's going to decrease the efficiency and make them take longer to produce one of their wood. So we'll put that guy right there. And as long as both of these guys are at 100%, then they're both going to be producing, at the normal time. At least until it says. So you can see if we put it right here, this one would take 30 seconds to produce 1 wood instead of 15. So I'll make sure I keep them nice and spaced. I don't know if if you overlap a little bit, I don't think it matters. So just to demonstrate the point, we'll overlap them a little bit like that. And of course they are going to need roads, so that way they can transport their goods. So one thing that you need to do for goods as well is when you're producing them, they need to have somewhere to go. So you need to place down a warehouse that will then allow these guys to go dump their wood off in the warehouse once they actually chop it. That sounded you could argue that sounded so dirty, but it happens. But in addition, we also do need those lumber mills as well, or sawmills, whatever they're called. So we'll place those down right here. We'll just put one down on each side, and there we go. You can see now the carts start coming out of here, carrying the wood. See, I'm telling you, I love the visuals in this game. I think they look so good. Like, stylistically, it's great. There's the guys over here carrying their little carts around, these guys are rolling barrels, and I love it. I think it's so good. We've reached a new milestone, so we are now a village, which means you can see here that now our villagers are going to need some of these things. So we already have the need for fish satisfied, because I think we start with some, but we're going to have to get a source of fish, a source of schnapps, and a source of work clothes. Actually, I believe they're schnapps. Are they schnapps or schnapps? I never remember what it's called. But yeah. So we're going to have to get some of that down. So we do need a fishery to get our, to make the fish for our workers. You can see up here, this is how many workers we have. So we have an excess of 88 workers right now. And if we hover over here, you see that it costs 25 farmers to actually run the fishery. So if we place this guy down, you'll see now we've decreased to 68 from 93. And I'm going to place down 2 of them right now, just because we are eventually going to need more. One of the things that is a little goofy is you would imagine that you probably don't need a road since this is directly connected to the harbor, but you still do, which I don't really understand why, but it's a thing that happens, so gotta put a road there just so that way they can still take their goods out once they make them. One of the other things we need is work clothes, so I think I'm gonna just kind of designate this area as like my industry area down here. You don't really have to do that, but it's something that I generally tend to do. So we're going to need work clothes, so we need a sheep farm, and we also need a framework knitter as well. You can see both of these guys take 30 seconds to produce 1 good, so it's 1 for 1 for every sheep farm. We need 1 framework knitter. Do I want to put them up here, or do I want to put them down here to start? I think I'll put them up here, I guess. Yeah, why not, right? So we'll place down our sheep farm. So with sheep farms, you also need fields for your sheep, so you got to put the sheep fold there. It takes 3, and just like that, we will be able to start producing wool from that. And you can see the little sheep are out in the field now. There are even some baby sheep as well. But I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to leave... I'll have like 1 row of sheep farms, and then behind that row of sheep farms, I'm going to put a row of framework knitters. And of course, I didn't leave enough space there, so that's unfortunate. But we'll put our first one right there. And both of these guys are in range of the warehouse as well, so we don't need a new warehouse. These guys will just go ahead and carry their stuff all over to this warehouse, and things will work out. We also need some of these, so we do need to think of where we're going to put this. I might have like a separate like farming district as well. Where do I want to put that? Maybe over here. Nah, that's probably not enough space. I don't really know where I want to put it. Maybe I'll put it... Oh, man, I don't know. Yeah, what the heck, I'll put it over there. So we'll make another big old road right over here. You don't really have to separate things, you know, as I mentioned, like this, but I'm going to do it anyways just because I think it looks nice. And the aesthetics are important to me for... I don't really know why, but... Alright, so we need at least 1 potato field. You can see that these produce potatoes in 30 seconds, and once again, in 30 seconds, so we need 1 for 1 here. Alright, there is a orientation that you can make it that it's perfectly square with 72 fields. Is this it? Nope, that's not it. Oh, darn it. I want to make it good. So, once again, it's one of those things that, like, you don't really have to do it like this, but I like the aesthetics. Oh no, we're 1 short? What? Oh, man. I want to find out how to make it square. Because I know for a fact that there's a way. That's the way. So how is that? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it doesn't even matter, really. I'm just kind of rambling to myself. But then we'll put the distilleries right in the middle there. And of course, these guys are going to need access to a warehouse as well. So we'll plop a warehouse down. Probably right over here. We just got to make sure that these guys, yeah, these guys have range. Because we're eventually going to be putting down probably a lot more of these. So I just want to make sure that they're all able to get in. And you see we have insufficient workforce now. So we have a shortage of workers because we expanded our infrastructure way too fast without actually having enough space for people. Without actually having enough people to work there. So we need to put down some more residences for right now. Gotta take a quick drink of water. Oh, forgot to build a road to that guy. Oops. There we go. So the reason you need to satisfy needs for the people that are living in your little cities is because the needs will influence how much income these people generate. So the happier the people are, the more money that they will generate. The other thing is that the happier the people are, the more people will move into the house. So if all the needs aren't satisfied, this will not be at 10 out of 10. Like this would maybe be, say, like 6 out of 10. And no more people would want to move in because there's not enough resources to satisfy more people. We still have this workforce shortage. Luckily, I'm going to go back to normal time. We do have 32 wood now, so we have plenty of wood to expand for some more houses here. Which we shall do. You have to be careful with how fast you expand because you do have to keep in mind that for the more population you have, then the more resources you're going to need to satisfy their needs. So it becomes a very tricky thing in a way that, you know, you need more workers to run buildings to get the resources, but you also, for those more workers that you need to move in, you also need more resources to satisfy them. So you kind of end up in like an endless loop sometimes, which can be a little bit tricky to deal with. Like you can see already, we are a little bit lower on work clothes and fish, but I think we should be okay with what we have right now. One of the other things people need is they have luxury needs as well. So if you go into happiness here, you can see that this is a luxury need, and so is a pub. A pub is a luxury need that will make them happier and thus make them generate more income. So luxury needs like this don't make it, or they make it so that people will still move in, but they won't be as happy and they won't generate as much income if they are without their luxury needs. So we'll go ahead and place a pub down somewhere. Where would be a good spot? We can place it maybe right here, because this will be fairly centered in our city eventually. I'm going to put it sideways like that, and bloop, we have a pub. Another thing that we should put down is a fire station, just in case things light on fire eventually, which does happen. There are like disasters in this game, so you have to be careful and ready for things to light on fire at any moment. So we'll put that probably, we'll put it up here, I think. Fairly centralized in the town, so that way people are able to, you know, they're able to get out of there and go fight fires if they need to. There's a big bird flying right over our stuff as well. But yeah, so now everything should be pretty good. People should be very happy. Obviously, we still have more space for people to move in. All of the needs are satisfied, luckily, and everything's going well. Look, there's a nice little carriage over here carrying people around. I'm telling you, I love the details of this game. I'm probably going to say that at least 3 million times. So really now, since we're in a good spot, you know, everything's satisfied, that just means we have the ability to expand a little bit more. So I think that's what we're going to do right now. We're just going to put down some more houses and, you know, get a little bit more people living here. We're actually out of wood. Oops. So I'm going to go into super speed. That is one of the nice things about this game. It's got super speed. So I should mention what this is right here. So these are blueprints. So you can actually plan out things. You could turn on blueprint mode, and then anything you place down won't actually get placed, even if you have the resources. It'll just place down the blueprints. And if you want to finish it, then you can just click the construct. Obviously, I don't want any of these because that's a terrible spot. But since we do now have the wood for these houses, we can just go and build them up. And we'll build a few more units. Oh, we're still in blueprint mode. Don't want to be in blueprint mode. And get these guys rolling here. There we go. Nice. Connect them all up. Oh, and here we go. This is something interesting. So we have a Resonant Quest right here. You can see the people are gathered outside the marketplace right now. They got the little star over their head, which means that there is a quest that they want us to do.
Fancy making hay while the sun shines, master.
So, wild animals are eating all my hens. Poor things are so terrified they haven't laid eggs in weeks. Catch the rascals. So we got to catch them, and there's a hidden reward that we get. So we can either accept or decline the quest. I'm of course going to accept it. And it says we have to collect the wild animals. So there's the chickens right there. If you click on it, it'll bring up some more information about it. So wild animals are hunting the farmer's hens. She begs you to catch them before they eat all of her chickens up, and we have to look for wild animals running around the streets of our city, probably near the farmer's residences. So let's just go ahead and look around here and see if we can find any wild animals walking around the streets. See, this is, I'm telling you, I love the fact that this, like, things like this, like, see, there's a wolf just casually walking down the street right now. That's not really normal, but that's probably some guy that would probably eat some chickens, so we can collect them up, and we've done the quest. So they gave us a person, you know, it just went away, but we got a reward for that quest, and we can look at them in our harbor over here. So if we come to our harbor, we can see that we do have an item now. This lady, which can be equipped in ships, and she gives a special thing to the ships. Speaking of ships, we're actually going to send ours out a little bit to go scout. So where do I want to send him? I'm just going to send him kind of southward and see if he finds anything. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. But the reason you want to do that is because you can find other islands that you can settle other colonies with. So something that you definitely do want to do, because there's these resources on your islands, and not every island has enough resources for certain needs, you know, certain goods that you have to produce. So one that I know of is that we are going to eventually need to produce beer for the next tier of workers, and we need hops fertility for that. We don't have that on this island, so we are going to have to find an island with hops fertility. Otherwise, we're going to be in a little bit of trouble, and we're going to have to find another way to get that item for the people. But we have a lot of workers right now. Everything's looking pretty good, so we actually can go ahead and upgrade into the next tier of workers. So we can do that by clicking the little upgrade button. You'll see the little arrows come up above the houses, which means they're ready to be upgraded. And just like that, we can upgrade into workers, and we've reached the age of industrialization. So we have a worker workforce now, which should be noted is separate from the farmer workforce. So the various tiers of workers that are in the game actually do different things, and they don't overlap with each other, which is interesting. So for right now, we're just going to upgrade a few of those houses.
That's all we ask.
And we have our workers. The workers have more complex needs as well. So you see right now they need sausages, which we are going to have to get some sort of source of. So sausages need pigs and a slaughterhouse, and once again it's 1 minute and 1 minute, so for every pig farm you do need one slaughterhouse. I think we'll put that down here with the rest of our industry stuff. I forget how much space the pig farms take up. I'm trying to think. So 1, 2... I'm trying to think of how I normally set them up. Yeah, we'll find out, right? So I guess we'll put the pig farm over here with the sheep. And we need 5 fields down, so we can organize them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that works out. So we got a pig farm there, and we are going to need 1 slaughterhouse as well. But unfortunately, we don't have any bricks. So you can see we need bricks for the slaughterhouse down there at construction cost, and we have currently we have 0 bricks. So we have to make sure that we get some sort of supply chain for the bricks as well. So bricks, I already know, are the first supply chain where things are not 1-to-1. So you can see we need a clay pit over clay, which we happen to have a clay deposit right here, which is nice. So plop one of those down. But the brick factory takes 1 minute to produce bricks, but the clay pit only takes 30 seconds to produce clay. So since we produce 2 clay for every 1 brick, that means that we can have 2 brick factories without needing to build another clay pit. So we will do that. The only thing is these guys are pretty expensive in their workforce. This guy takes 50 workers, and these each take 25. Right now we only have 10 extra workers, so we are going to need to upgrade some buildings before we can actually get those buildings up and running. And we don't have enough wood to actually do that right now. We can place down 1 brick factory right now, though, so we will do that. Put the road there. I'm probably going to need another warehouse out here, because these guys are not in range of the other warehouse. We also don't have enough wood for a warehouse, so I'm going to go into super speed. That way we can just, you know, let our lumber, or our timber stockpile grow up a little bit. There we go. We have enough for a warehouse, so we'll put it right at the end here. And now we'll put down a brick factory. And of course we still need more timber, so we'll wait a few seconds until we actually get that. And bloop, just like that, we have our first brick factory. So the brick factory is just going to go ahead making some bricks. And then bricks we can use to construct other buildings such as that slaughterhouse. Some of the production chains, as we get further and further, just get more and more complex, and it actually can get pretty confusing, but that's honestly part of the fun part of this game. So if you're someone that really enjoys the whole production chain thing and, you know, optimizing production chains and planning out cities based on production chains and things like that, this is definitely a game for you, because there's so much of that goes on here, and I mean, personally, I think it's a ton of fun, but I know that's something that's definitely not for everybody. But now that we have 45 workers, so we can get down our second brick factory, just so that way we are making full use of this clay pit. I'm going to put it on this side, just kind of, why not? So, I want it to be symmetric. I'm telling you, I'm a real stickler in this game for symmetric things and whatnot. So we have our first newspaper as well, so we can review the newspaper. And what will happen is this is based on the various things that happen in your city. This guy needs to shut up because he's trying to talk over me. But this is based on things that happen in your city. So you can see we have a new company that takes root. So Shwoomzaloom settles his first island. That's obviously me. And there's various things. So the effect of this one is that our happiness rises by 5. For this one, the chance of riots goes down by 5, and for this one, the happiness goes up by 5 again. So these are all good, so we can just publish this, but if we didn't like these things, maybe we're going to have a decrease in happiness, we could edit it, and we can put in propaganda that we can use to influence things. So this one will make it so that we gain 5% income. We could artificially increase the happiness of our people. I'm not going to do that, though. So the negative effects of that is that other players will look down upon you for doing that, and it also does cost influence to replace articles with these propaganda things as well. So we're just gonna publish everything as is though, because it's all pretty good. No changes, really. I love the voice acting in this game too. It's kind of funny. And now, do we have enough for this? Nope, we need 50 workers. We can't actually build the slaughterhouse, but I'm not going to just yet because we need more workers. So we'll upgrade 3 more houses, and just like that, we're at 50 workers. So we can upgrade, and there we go. We now have our slaughterhouse as well, and we are now a port town as well, which means we have more needs. So, as I was talking, just when you get enough for one need, you end up with another need. So there's always things going on here, and always things that you need to expand for. So now we're going to need a bread production chain, which we can look at. But I think that we're going to take care of that in the next video. So hopefully you enjoyed this first one. If you have any, comments or ways that I can improve this walkthrough as we go throughout it, let me know in the comment section below. Or if there's any questions you have about playing Anno or anything of that sort, let me know in the comment section below. But thank you everyone for watching. I have been Saxy Gamer. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to like. If not, feel free to dislike. If you're looking for more Anno 1800 content, feel free to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.